Owning a pet in Sweden versus the US. Let's go. Hey guys, what's going on? Andrew coming at you. Actually, there's like cat hair flying around all in front of me. I don't know if it's in the camera, but I have two cats here in Sweden. I grew up with animals in the States and now Sweden. And I thought it'd be fun to talk about the differences between owning an animal in both countries, like the different laws, the way I see things. So if you're interested, let me know. I have two cats, Isa and Svea, and if you watch my videos, you're going to see them in the videos a lot because they usually like to come out when I'm filming. There's one cat on the bed here behind me, but I don't think it's on the camera. One thing that I really noticed about having animals or just pets in general is it seems to me that Sweden doesn't have the same massive problem that we have in the United States with stray animals. Now, there seems to be a big problem with strays, and for example, like my dad and stepmom, they have two stray cats, or they've rescued four cats really, and two of them were actually strays that they found on the street that they took in. I think there's an issue with people not getting their pets spayed or neutered, or maybe that I've also heard horrible things like people leaving college and then leaving their animals behind, which just breaks my heart absolutely. But there is a little bit of a problem with that. It feels like we have a lot of humane societies in the United States. These are places where animals can go and be taken care of. In some cases, they have to put animals down, and that part is horrible as well. Like, I don't even want to think about that. But I don't see that many places in Sweden set up for that. I had looked at like Swedish humane societies or whatever, and there just seems to be fewer animals there. It seems to be like a little bit more controlled. So it's still a problem, and people still need to like adopt animals from the shelters, and I would like to encourage people to do that. But I feel that we just don't have the same problem here, and I think that's due to Sweden being smaller, just being more controlled, and maybe it's harder to do in the United States. And in some cases, we just need to have the laws the same, I think, in every state when it comes to animals. That being said, in some states in the United States, it's illegal to declaw a cat, but in some states, it's still legal to declaw a cat. And what I love about Sweden is it's absolutely illegal to declaw a cat. It's inhumane. And part of the problem is, I think, an educational problem, because I don't think people realize that like cats need their nails to like scratch on things, right? They have to scratch to just feel good. And when you take their nails away from them, you can create all these other behavioral problems and stress, because that scratching that they do, that's like us for breathing. It's so natural to them, and for them to lose their nails, they lose their way of protection, they lose their way to put their scent on things, and it's just a horrible situation. I really believe there's a lot of owners that if they do declaw cats, it's an educational problem, like I said. So please don't do it. And I encourage anybody involved to try to make this illegal in every single state. We got to stop it. You can't get mad at a cat for being a cat. That's like getting mad at a cat for knocking stuff off your table. So good job there, Sweden. What I also like is Sweden has a lot of laws and protections in place for animals. For example, if I go on vacation and I leave my cat alone, let's say I go to the States, I obviously can't go to the States for like a month like I used to, but I can probably leave for a week or a little bit longer than a week. And one thing I have to make sure of is that my cats get someone to protect them, someone to check on them twice a day. And I just think that's such a fantastic law. So there's like, it's law in Sweden. You have to have the cat or dog checked on twice a day. Anything can happen, right? Something can happen to a cat can get stuck somewhere. I know this from having kittens. And just the ability of having them be seen twice is awesome. But also, there's a misconception with cats. I think that cats can just be alone and they're okay. But animals need to have humans around. And like in my situation, I'm probably going to pay someone to like even just hang out for a couple hours and like go watch a movie on my couch or something, just so that the animals can have someone around and just get that human contact. What they do with dogs, which I think is fantastic, is that dogs cannot be left alone more than 6 hours. That's just the way it is. And so what's cool is this: in some workplaces in Sweden, if people aren't allergic, I have seen dogs at work. And personally, I love seeing animals at work. I don't know why. They just put me in a good mood. And especially like the dogs I've seen at work were so well behaved and just so chill. I also like that these dogs get on a walk and that we have this law, because, dogs need to be active, they need to move around, and it kind of creates a job and a career for some people maybe that are younger, where they just walk dogs or they check on dogs for people. So it can be a challenge getting a dog because of this law in Sweden, but some people maybe aren't in a position where they should have animals. And I think if you put this law in place, those people that shouldn't have animals, they're less likely to get the animals then, basically. So it kind of weeds out some people. In the States, there really isn't a law in place for this, as far as I know. I mean, you're supposed to have someone check on the dogs and cats. We do have animal cruelty laws and things in place. Unfortunately, it seems like things can get way worse, like before they get better with some of these things. And like, yeah, in Sweden, regular checkups, you know, getting your pet vaccinated, doing all these things, having these laws in place, not leaving the animals alone too long. It gives the animals a lot more rights, where in the States, most people I know that have an animal, they love their animals more than anything. Like, you know, my sister's in a position where she takes her dog to a kennel every day when she goes and works, because sometimes she works longer hours, so the dog goes to a doggy daycare. But, you know, there's some people in a situation maybe where they can't do that, or they can't afford that. And it would be nice if we had more things in place for that as well. I just want to say one last thing with this is that if you adopted an animal right around like COVID or whatever, that keep in mind that when you do eventually leave or go somewhere, it's probably going to be difficult for the animals. That's what I think it'll be like for my cats, because simply we've been in a position where we've been around all the time. And the last thing I want to encourage people to do is, if you have animals, if you live with animals, play with them. Play with them, love them. If they have behavioral problems, if you feel like they bark too much, or maybe they meow too much or anything else, play with your animals regularly. Give them love regularly. From what I've experienced, the more you put into having an animal, the better they are. And if an animal ever has a problem or something, it's usually something that you're doing as the owner that you can adjust and change. So anyways, I love having my animals. I'm going to give my cats lots of love right now, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hej då!